Hi, and welcome back to our search engine optimization tutorial. In this video we're going to talk about sitemaps, and this is really the third and final step that you need to take to get your site set up inside of Google and Bing and Webmaster Tools, and to make sure that Google and Bing actually come and visit your website. And this is a step that causes a lot of people a lot of problems. They either don't know that they need to create a sitemap and upload it, or they don't know how to do it, or they try and do it by themselves with some random information, and it ends up not working, or they end up using a service that's unreliable, and they end up having viruses and malware on their site. So you want to be really careful when doing your sitemaps that you're going to be working with them correctly. So what exactly is a sitemap, and why is it so important to have them on your website? And the answer is simply a sitemap is a structured data file that identifies all the pages that you want indexed on your website and how frequently those web pages change. So it's just simply a structured data file. Now, unfortunately, there isn't just one format for a sitemap. There are actually 4 different formats of sitemaps that you're going to need to create and upload to your website. Fortunately, there are lots of services out there that will do this for you if you don't want to learn how to create these files for yourself. And they're fairly easy to use. Once you have these files created, all you need to do is upload them to your home directory, or whatever directory or folder has your home page on it, the index.html file. And once you've uploaded them, then you're ready to go in and begin using them. And the first of those 4 formats of sitemap files is called sitemap.xml. And while the name isn't required, this is usually what it is called, and what Google and Bing are going to expect it to be called. And this is the sitemap file that you're actually going to upload to Google and Bing Webmaster Tools. And for that reason, your sitemap XML file is the most important of all these sitemap files that you're going to generate. Secondly, you're going to have a sitemap file that's in HTML format, and normally that is named sitemap.html. And again, this is a file that you upload to your website, and most commonly what people will do is they'll create a link to this sitemap in the footer of their web page. And you've probably seen that before, and you may have even clicked on a link called sitemap on a website before. And when you do that, basically all you get is a listing of all the pages that are on that particular website. So sitemap HTML is the second format, and a very important sitemap file that you're going to add to your website. The third format is called url.txt, and in this case the name actually is important. With sitemap.xml and sitemap.html, you could name them whatever you want. These are their common names and what people are expecting them to be named. But url.txt actually needs to have that name. And this is simply a sitemap that's in text format, as opposed to sitemap.xml that is in XML format, and sitemap.html that is in HTML format. And many search engines use the url.txt file. Probably the largest search engine that uses it regularly is Yahoo. But Google and Bing, if they find that file, will also make use of it for you. as well as many other search engines and directories. And then finally, you're going to have a sitemap file called ROR.xml. And this is another XML formatted sitemap file that you're going to use. That's used again by a lot of different search engines. It's not used by Google and Bing, but many other search engines will specifically look for an ROR.xml file on your website. And that file, again, just like url.txt, needs to be named ROR.xml in order for it to be any use. So those are the 4 different kinds of sitemaps that you're going to go ahead and create. Now, it is very important to have sitemap files available for search engines on your website. However, a sitemap that contains errors or isn't formatted correctly will actually cause you more problems than not having a sitemap file in the first place. Fortunately, when you upload your sitemap.xml file to your Google or Bing Webmaster Tools account, they will tell you if there are any errors or any problems with your sitemap file, your sitemap.xml file. And if that file is okay and you use the same service to create the other files, chances are those are going to be all right as well. Because sitemap.xml is the most complicated of all these formats to create. So you want to make sure that you don't have any errors in your sitemap files. You also want to be very cautious about using free scripts or scripts from people that you may not know, that you just find on the internet. And the reason for that is nobody ever puts anything up for free on the internet. There's always a reason why they're putting something up. Actually, I should take that back. There are some altruistic individuals that create things for free. But a lot of times there's a catch. And with sitemaps, there's definitely a catch because it has to do with search engine optimization. And frequently what will happen with sitemap files that you have created by a service or a script will have links to other people's websites in them. And what the company that's doing that is hoping for is getting more search engine attention by having those links in your sitemap file. But so you need to make sure that the only links that are in any of these sitemap files are to pages within your website. You also want to make sure that you aren't downloading or using a service to create a sitemap that's kind of questionable, because these are files that can contain scripts, which means that they could contain viruses, they could contain malware, they could cause you all sorts of problems. And the last thing in the world you want to do is submit a sitemap to Google and then have Google discover that there's a virus or some sort of malicious software or malware on your site. Because at a minimum, Google will ignore your site. And they may even remove your site from their index altogether, or put a warning page up. A lot of people have seen Google and Bing warning pages start to appear on the internet. So you need to be careful who you or where you get your sitemap tools from. So the first decision really you have to make regarding your sitemaps is, are you going to take the time to learn how to create these 4 different types of files correctly so that you can submit them to search engines and have them available. Most people don't opt for that because it is fairly time consuming to do and something that's prone to errors. And again, you don't want to submit sitemaps to search engines that have errors in them because that will only cause you problems. And you can see here I've actually gone to my website, timothyseo.net. And if you scroll down just a little bit on the page, you're going to see a link for my sitemap creation service. And if you click here, you'll find out more information about the service that we provide. And you'll also see I have listed here 6 reasons why our sitemap creation service is better than others. And the first is we absolutely guarantee that these sitemap files are going to work for you. We guarantee that they'll be accepted by Google and Bing webmaster tools. And this has never happened, but if for some reason or another Google and Bing didn't accept your sitemaps, we will either fix the problem or immediately offer you a full refund. So there's absolutely no risk at all involved in using our service, and you have everything to gain. The other things, we guarantee that our sitemap files that we send to you will not have any viruses or malware in them. We guarantee that they won't contain any errors. We guarantee that they will not contain any broken links. And again, unlike other sitemap services, we never use your sitemap files to promote either our website or another website. Absolutely all the links in your sitemap file will be pointing to your website and not to anybody else's website. So you will get a clean, well-functioning sitemap file that somebody isn't using for their own purposes. And again, that's very important to make sure that people haven't snuck links into your sitemap. And again, we know how to create professional sitemaps that search engines love. We take all the guesswork and all the worry out of creating a sitemap, and we save you all the time that it would take for you to learn how to create these files and upload them. So there's absolutely no worries and no problems when you use our service. We guarantee that they'll work. All you have to do is upload the files and add them to Google and Bing webmaster tools, and you're done. And finally, and this is something that no other service is going to offer you, if your website changes within 30 days of you purchasing our sitemap creation service, we will recreate your sitemaps for free for you. So let's say you get your sitemap files from us, you upload them, add them to Google and Bing webmaster tools, and 29 days later you decide you're going to change your website and add some pages. All you have to do is send us an email, and we will recreate those files for you and send them to you at no charge. So you don't have to worry about getting your sitemap files and then unexpectedly changing your website. So we've really tried to make this service as hassle-free as possible for you, as well as being a very highly effective tool for getting your sites indexed by Google. Now, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this window here, and you can now see my desktop. And you can see I have a folder here called Sitemaps. And this is going to be exactly what you get from us when you create, when you have us create your sitemaps for you. And if I open up this folder, you'll see there are the 4 different sitemaps. And all you have to do is simply copy those files and paste them into your website folder. So here's our sample website that we're going to use for our tutorials. I open it on up. That's your home directory. You can always tell because it's going to be the directory that has your home page in it. That's normally called index.html, and paste. And once those files are pasted into your home directory, you can use whatever program you normally use to upload the files. And this is another point that some people get a little mixed up in. They add the files to the folder here, but they forget to go to their whatever web design program they're using and upload the files. And they immediately go to Google and Bing Webmaster Tools and add them. And Google ends up saying, and Bing ends up saying, sorry, that file doesn't exist. So remember, you've not only got to add them to your folder, you've also got to upload them to your web server. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Dreamweaver. But again, if you're using Expression Web or Sublime Text or another program, you can use whatever program you normally use to upload files. And when I click on files, we can see there's my sitemap files right there. And all I've got to do is highlight them and then put them to the server. So we're going to go ahead and upload those 4 files. And now we're ready to go ahead and go into Google and Bing Webmaster Tools and add your sitemap.xml file to that. So here I am in my Google Webmaster Tools account, and I'm right on my main dashboard page. And you should see a section here called Sitemaps. If you don't, Sitemaps is going to be somewhere over here to the left. In this case, it's underneath Crawl and Sitemaps. So you can either click here on Sitemaps or click over here. And if you want to actually read more about the importance of sitemaps, Google places a link here called Why Submit a Sitemap that you can read from Google why it's important to do this and to do it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my sitemaps, and you can see it says no sitemaps for the site were found, and that's because I haven't added any. So I'm going to come over here to Add Test Sitemap and click that, and you're going to see the main URL for your website. And we want to go ahead and type in sitemap.xml. And if you click on Test Sitemap, it will run a test on that site before you've uploaded it. And this is very important. Run the test before you actually add it to Google. Then click View Test Results, and you can see error details, no errors were found, and 22 pages from this site were submitted. So Google will actually tell you whether or not you have successfully created and correctly created a sitemap file. So since the test worked, I'm going to click on Close Sitemap Test here, and then click on Add Test Sitemap again. Type the same thing in, sitemap.xml. Again, make sure you spell it correctly. And then I'm going to click Submit Sitemap. It should say Sitemap Submitted. And you can go ahead and click Refresh this page. And you should see the information here. Now, it actually is going to take just a few minutes for Google to actually process this sitemap. But eventually you're going to be able to hit the refresh button in your browser, and the pending option will disappear, and it will tell you that it's processed your file. And I'm going to hit refresh here one more time, and we'll see that's still pending. We'll go ahead and pause for a moment and then refresh. So here I'm back. I've waited just a few more minutes and still says pending here, but when I hit the refresh button at this point, it should tell me, and again, this takes just a few minutes to process, that you've submitted 22 pages to your website. And you're also going to see if there were any issues or problems with your sitemap. Now, once you've submitted your sitemap, Google and Bing, because you go through the same process with Bing, and we'll see that in a later video, begins the process of, or it puts your sitemap in queue for your site to be visited by Google. And you're going to see it's the option here for indexed says pending. It may take a while for Google to actually go to your website. It's not uncommon to have to wait a few weeks for Google to go to your website and index it. But eventually Google will visit your website. And again, if you're in a real hurry to get your website indexed by Google, we have what we call our Google Super Speed service that we guarantee that Google will visit and index your site within 10 days or offer you your money back. So that's another option there. So we've successfully submitted a sitemap to Google, and we've uploaded the other formats so that when Yahoo or other search engines visit your website, they will have something to find there as well. And again, in a later video, we'll go in and set up Bing Webmaster Tools and go through the same process of submitting a sitemap. So that's all you need to do to get your website into Google and Bing. First thing you do, make sure your pages are set up correctly. Make sure that you've got your search engine tags in your heading section that tells search engines, yes, index this site. Make sure that you've gone ahead and correctly created your sitemaps, set up a Google Webmaster account and a Bing Webmaster account, and add your sitemap to them. And that's all you should need to do to get Google and Bing and other sites, other search engines' attention. And again, it may take a while, and there are services out there that will speed things up for you, but eventually Google is going to come index your site, and you can see it from right here. And you can also come over here again under crawl, and there's lots of good information here. If I click on crawl stats here, as a matter of fact, it's going to tell you how often Google comes and visits your website. And you can see, since this was just a project website, we started off Google visited quite frequently. And now that they somewhat understand what's going on with our website, their activity is lulled down a little bit. And it's going to be very common for you to see sort of this rolling curve as far as your crawl stats go. When Google senses that you're changing your website frequently, they come back more often. If they think that your website hasn't changed, they're going to visit it less frequently. But you can see over the last, really since July 8th, so not very many days ago from the time we're recording this video, which is on the 17th, at a high, Google has visited and indexed 40 of my pages. They've averaged looking at 19 pages a day. And the low value was one web page, which was probably my home page that they visited on any one particular day. But again, if you see this rolling in your statistics, don't let that bother you. That is perfectly normal for most websites. The only difference would be if you have a website that you change and add new fresh content to literally every day or every few days, then you may see a flatter curve. But normally what happens is people will update their website, and then some time goes by, 1 or 2 weeks, before they come back and add more pages or make modifications. So Google very frequently, you'll see sort of that rolling effect here. And actually you can see, since this is on a slightly uphill trend right here, and you'll see that very frequently. You can also come over here to Google Index and click on Index Status, and it's going to tell you the total number of pages that have actually been indexed. Now, this is actually important. I want you to notice something here. The total indexed is 0. But when I came over here to crawl and looked at crawl stats, well, Google's looking at on an average of 19 pages on this website every day. Sometimes less, sometimes more. So Google's actually coming to my website, but when I look at the Google index over here and come to index status, the total number of pages that are indexed is 0. And the reason for that is when you look at that sample project website, there's no real information on there. All there is filler text. And if you submit a site to Google and Google looks at it and it's sort of nonsense spam or contains a lot of filler text, it may visit your website, but it's not going to start indexing it until it actually finds real content. And again, if I go ahead and open my website up in a browser, you can see here all the filler text is still in here from the template. So you'd want to definitely replace all this filler text with actual real content for your website before you actually start trying to get Google to come index your site. Well, thank you for watching our search engine optimization tutorial on using sitemaps. And for more information about sitemaps and all sorts of things related to SEO, be sure to visit our website at timothyseo.net. And you'll get a lot of great information there, and you can also check out a lot of the great services that we can offer you for your website that will not only get you into Google, Bing, and other search engines, but will increase your search engine rankings so that people can find your site much easier. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and continue talking about SEO. We're going to specifically talk about using headings as well as alt and title attributes to maximize your SEO benefit. And this may seem like a topic that's fairly elementary, but I definitely would watch the next video, because there are a lot of little things about using headings, alt tags, and title tags that a lot of people don't know that will really maximize your search engine optimization efforts. So I will see you in the next video.